Hello, I'm Bounding Into Comics Associate Editor Spencer Baculi, and I'd like to welcome you to my review of Superman and Lois Episode 2, Heritage. And yes, viewers, I know that my weekly reviews are beginning with the series' second episode. Why, you ask? Because, I'll admit, after the recent decline in the CW's DC output, I was unprepared for Superman and Lois to be anything but the same old song and dance. But between its respect for the source material, avoidance of any ham-fisted socio-political messaging, and surprising balance of its teenage drama, The Man of Steel's return to primetime TV took me by surprise, as it gave fans such as myself a glimmer of hope that all was not lost for media adaptations of their favorite comic book characters. Against all odds, the show's quality turned out to be less of a Trojan horse and more of a sign of things to come, as its second episode, while not quite as strong as the first, has given us more reason to stick around than turn off our televisions. Having made the decision to move from Metropolis to Smallville in the last episode, Heritage opens with the Kents adjusting to their new small-town lifestyle. Newly let go from the Daily Planet, Clark turns to helping Jordan control his newly developed powers, taking his son on regular trips to the Fortress of Solitude to help better understand his Kryptonian heritage. At the same time, Lois continues to follow her gut and investigate the corrupt business practices of Morgan Edge, while Jonathan attempts to adjust to a life far removed from everything he had ever known. However, their idyllic rural life is not without its problems. Almost as quickly as they arrived, the Kents find themselves inundated with personal hardships, with the Fortress of Solitude-based version of Jor-El revealing that Jordan's powers were merely a temporary blip, Lois discovering that Morgan Edge is willing to manipulate her reporting in order to hide the truth of his endeavors, and Jonathan finding himself bullied by the Smallville High football team as fallout for his role in last week's bonfire incident. Meanwhile, Clark continues to find himself preoccupied with the mysterious, armor-clad stranger, who returns in this episode to raid government facilities in pursuit of kryptonite to use against Superman. While he finds that he's eventually able to physically overpower the stranger, though this turns out to be nothing more than an automated drone, Clark's life is further placed upside down when General Lane reveals that he himself has been hoarding the planet's supply of kryptonite, claiming that he was doing so in order to protect the man his daughter loves. As a result of now being beset on all sides by powerful people wielding mass amounts of his only weakness, Clark's doubt about his role as both a superhero and father return tenfold, as the last son of Krypton begins to wonder if he's having a net positive effect on the world around him. It's genuinely impressive that despite every element being in place, the CW manages to somehow avoid falling victim to the same traps that led the overall Arrowverse to lose much of its goodwill among fans. Surprisingly, the writers are able to balance Clark's superheroics, Jordan and Jonathan's growing pains, and Lois's battle with Morgan Edge in a way that gives each threat its due attention and works in unison to tell the story of a family going through a difficult journey together. To this end, most notably, the show doesn't linger on its moments of teenage angst and drama. Whereas most shows on the CW would center on the drama of Jordan and Jonathan's teenage experiences as the central focus of the show, Superman and Lois gives just enough focus to the two boys for audiences to empathize with their issues, but not too much that their scenes feel awkward or unnecessarily melodramatic. In Heritage, this is best seen in the brief encounter Jordan and Jonathan have with Sarah at the barbecue, as after establishing that tensions still run high between the three, the episode cuts back to its other plot lines and avoids devolving into an after-school special. And though it's only the second episode of the entire series, it's become readily apparent that the highlight of Superman and Lois is its cast of characters. From Clark's uncertainty in the face of an unprecedented challenge, personally, I've always enjoyed stories focusing on Superman as a father, as it presents him with a situation in which his vast toolbox of powers are practically useless. To the seed of doubt towards Superman being planted in the mind of General Lane, to Lois's characteristic resignation from the Daily Planet in the face of being censored, almost every character feels fleshed out, believable, and respectful towards DC's original source material. However, the key word here is almost, as there is one character in particular that feels disappointing in comparison to his fellow cast members: Captain Luthor. Overall, Captain Luthor is a fun idea, playing upon the concept of Earth-3 and presenting the man as a heroic survivor of war against a seemingly evil version of Superman that runs rampant across his reality. Yet, the execution of Captain Luthor as a character ultimately falls flat due to the performance given by actor Wole Parks. Whether a case of poor direction or a testament to his acting chops, every line delivered by Parks feels untethered from the show itself, almost as if he's recording his lines in post completely separate from the rest of the cast. His performance is awkward, jarring, and campy in all the wrong ways, which in turn leaves Captain Luthor feeling more like an imitation of a one-off Power Rangers monster than any sort of actual threat. A special nod should also be given to the series' special effects, as in comparison to the less than stellar running shots of Barry Allen as seen in The Flash, Superman and Lois's effects present an admirable translation of the Man of Steel to network television. When Superman flies, it feels as if he does so with the ease of knowledge gained through his familiarity with his powers. His punches carry the weight of someone who could crush the world in his hands, and his other powers feel so secondhand in their use. Honestly, it's a breath of fresh air to follow an established hero and not have to go the origin story route that so many adaptations feel the need to adhere to. As an aside, there is one curiosity regarding Superman and Lois' cinematography that deserves mention, and that is just how visually similar the moments of Clark being Superman are to the same such moments in Zack Snyder's cinematic interpretation of the character. Between the sweeping vistas, the cool color palette that seems to give an almost ethereal feel to Clark's movements, and the lingering shots meant to convey a sense of awe-inspiring heroism, one would be forgiven for mistaking this as a rebooted take on the DCEU. It's nothing against Superman and Lois itself, but it does lead one to wonder why DC and Warner Brothers are so adamant about pushing Zack Snyder out the door when they clearly continue to take inspiration from his versions of the characters. Overall, Heritage is a solid follow-up to last week's premiere, but one can never shake the sense that the exposition-heavy episode was produced as more of an epilogue to the series' first episode, meant to finish setting up a season's worth of conflicts rather than begin any exploration of the mysteries set up last week. This type of episode works as a one-off, but given the CW's past track record of turning their series to focus on interpersonal conflicts rather than superheroics, it will likely spark just a twinge of uncertainty regarding the series' future among viewers. Thankfully, the rest of the episode's strong writing, not to mention its ending sting of a black-suited Superman, should serve to quickly snuff out those fears. Superman and Lois continues to exceed the admittedly low expectations many have for any production on the CW. Here's hoping that the rest of the season continues to deliver. Pros. The episode avoids lingering on teenage melodrama, each plotline gets equal and deserving attention, and come on, the appearance of Black Suit Superman in any media is raw every single time. Cons. The focus on finishing plot setups makes Heritage feel like an epilogue of sorts, Captain Luthor is poorly executed, and Clark's face when he lands in the meteor after being blown away by Captain Luthor's bomb is just awkward. Overall, 7.5 out of 10.